Believe me, Leuco, I didn't understand it at the moment. Sometimes it happens to get the formula wrong. Like amnesia, it can happen. Yet I touched him. The truth is that I have been waiting for him for so long that I didn't even think about it. When I made sense of everything, he had already jumped up, with his hand on his sword. I wanted to smile. So huge was my satisfaction, but so was my disappointment. I even thought of being able to do without it, to escape fate. After all, it's Ulysses, I thought, a man who wants to go home. I was already thinking of taking him, my dear Leuco. He was wagging this lame sword, totally ridiculous and as brave as only a man knows how to be. I had to smile and stare at him like I do with them, and being surprised and avoiding it. I felt like a kid again. I remember those times when they asked us what we want to do when we grow up, and we would laugh like crazy. Everything went like a dance. He grabbed my wrists, raised his voice. I went through all the colors, but I was pale, Leuco. I hugged his knees and started my lines. Who are you? By what earth begotten? Poor thing, I thought. He doesn't know what's to come for him. He was tall, curly-haired, and handsome man, Leuco. What a formidable pig, what a wolf he would have made.
Pero le dijiste esas cosas en el año que pasó contigo.
Oh, girl, don't talk about destiny with a man. They believe they said everything when they called destiny the steel chain, the fatal decree. You know, they call us the fatal women, you know.
No saben sonreír.
Some among them know how to laugh in the face of fate, or laugh after, but while at it, they have to do it for real, or they die. They don't know how to make fun of divine things. They don't know how to hear themselves declaim like us. Their life is so short that they cannot accept to do things already done or already known. He too, Ulysses the brave. If I was telling him a word in that sense, he would cease to understand me and he would think of Penelope.
Qué aburrido.
Yes, but you see, I understand him. With Penelope, he didn't have to smile. With her, everything, even the daily meal, was serious and new. They could prepare for death. You don't know how attractive they find death. Dying is indeed destiny for them. A repetition, a known thing. But they have this illusion that it will bring a change.
¿Por qué entonces no quiso convertirse en cerdo?
Leuco. He didn't even want to become a god, and you know how much Calypso begged him. Such an idiot. Ulysses was like this. Neither pig nor god. Only a man. Extremely intelligent and brave in the face of fate.
Dime, querida, ¿te gustó mucho con él?
I think of one thing, Leuco. None of us goddesses ever wanted to become mortal. None of us ever desired it. And yet, that would be the novelty that would break the chain.
Te gustaría, ¿no?
What are you saying, Leuco? Ulysses didn't understand why I smiled. Often he didn't even realize that I smiled. Once, I thought I had explained to him why the beast is closer to us mortals than to the intelligent and brave man. The beast that eats, climbs, and has no memory. He replied to me that in his home, a dog was awaiting him, a poor dog, who was maybe already dead. And he told me his name. You understand, Leuco? That dog had a name.
Los hombres también nos dan nombres a nosotras.
When he was on my bed, Ulysses gave me many names. At first it was like the scream of the beast, a pig or a wolf. But then he himself, little by little, realized that it was the syllables of the same word. He called me with the names of all the goddesses, of our sisters, with the names of the mother, of the things of life. It was like a struggle with me, with fate. He wanted to call me, hold me, make me mortal. He wanted to break something. He put intelligence and courage into it. He had it. But he never knew how to smile. He never knew what the smile of the gods was. It belonged to us, we who know destiny.
Nadie nos entiende, ni a nosotras ni a las bestias. Y a tus hombres, convertidos en lobos y cerdos, todavía rugen como verdaderos hombres. Es una agonía. En su inteligencia son muy brutos. ¿Jugaste mucho con ellos?
I enjoy them, Leuco. I enjoy them as much as I can. I was not meant to have a god in my bed. As for men, only Ulysses. All the others become beasts and go into rage, and they look for me like that, as beasts. Me, I take them, Leuco. Their fury is neither better nor worse than the love of a god. But with them, I don't even have to smile. I feel them covering me and then running away to take shelter in their dens. I never lower my eyes.
¿Ulysses?
I don't ask myself who they are. You want to know who Ulysses was?
Dime, Circe.
One night, he described to me his arrival at Aea, the fear of his companions, the sentinels posted on the ships. He told me that all night long they listened to the growls and roars, stretched out in their cloaks on the shore of this sea. And then, the day having dawned, that they saw beyond the forest a spiral of smoke rising, and that they shouted of joy, recognizing the fatherland and the houses. He told me these things, smiling, how men smile, sitting beside me in front of the fireplace. He wanted to forget about who I was and where he was, and that night he called me Penelope.
Oh, Circe, fue tan tonto.
My little Leuco, I was foolish too, and I told him to cry.
Imagínate.
And no, he didn't cry. He knew that Circe loved the beasts that don't cry. He cried later on, though. He cried the day I told him about the long journey he still had left, and the descent into the otherworld and the bottomless blackness of the ocean. Those tears that wash the eyes and give strength, I too understand them. I, Circe. But that night he spoke to me, laughing ambiguously about his childhood and destiny. He then asked me questions about myself. He spoke while laughing, you understand?
No entiendo.
Laughing, with mouth and voice, but his eyes were full of memories. He then told me to sing, and while I sang, I took up the loom. I changed my husky voice and turned it into the voice of the house and of childhood. I softened it. I was Penelope for him. He took his head in his hands.
¿Quién se reía al final?
Nobody, Leuco. I too was mortal that night. I had a name, Penelope. That was the only time that I lowered my eyes and faced my fate without a smile.
¿Y este hombre amaba un perro?
A dog, a woman, a son, and a ship to run the sea. And the innumerable return of days never seemed to destiny for him. And he ran to death knowing what he was, and he enriched the earth with words and facts.
Ay, Circe, no tengo tus ojos, pero aquí quiero sonreír también. Fuiste ingenua. Si le hubieras dicho que el lobo y el cerdo te cubrían como una bestia, se habría caído. se habría enfurecido también.
I told him. He barely scowled. After a while, he said, provided they're not my companions.
Celoso entonces.
Not jealous. He cared about them. He understood each thing, except our smile, as the gods. That day when he cried on my bed, he didn't cry because of fear, but because the ultimate journey was imposed on him by fate, that it was something already known. And then why do it? He asked me, girding his sword and walking towards the sea. I brought him the black lamb, and while his companions wept, he noticed a flock of swallows on the roof and said to me, they're leaving too. They don't know what they're doing, but you, mistress, you do.
¿Te dijo algo más?
Nothing else?
Circe, ¿por qué no lo mataste?
I'm really a fool. Sometimes I forget that we know. And then I have fun as if I was a kid. As if those things happened to the grown-ups, to the Olympians. The inexorable happenings made up of absurdity and unexpectedness. What I never plan is precisely to have planned, and that I know each time what I will do and what I will say, and so what I do and say always become new, surprising like a game. Like this game of chess that Ulysses taught me, all made of rules and norms, but so beautiful and unexpected, with its ivory pieces. He always told me that this game is life. He always told me that this game is a way of overcoming time.
Recuerdas demasiadas cosas sobre él. No lo convertiste ni en cerdo ni en lobo y lo convertiste en un recuerdo.
This is the only immortal thing the mortal man has, Leuco. The memory he carries and the memory he leaves. Names and words are that. In front of the memory, they smile too, resigned.
Circe, tú también dices palabras.
I know my destiny, Leuco. Don't be afraid.